Hello everyone, and welcome to this short webinar on Degree Plus. My name is Diane Masson and I'm one of the careers consultants from Careers, Employability and Skills. And I'm going to be joined a bit later on in this session with Megan, who's a recent Queen's graduate, and she's going to share with us some of the activities that she got involved in during her time at Queen's and how she got Degree Plus and how she's benefited from that. So just to start off, what is Degree Plus? So Queen's recognise that a lot of our students are involved in extracurricular experiences during their time at Queen's. And those experiences are providing opportunities for you to develop really important employability skills. So the Degree Plus Award is an employability award that recognises those skills and gives you formal recognition in the form of a certificate for your participation and your skills development through participating in extracurricular activities. Over 2,000 students successfully complete Degree Plus every year. And in doing so, those students are building really valuable employability and personal skills. But not only that, and probably more importantly, they're learning how to articulate these skills to employers. So extracurricular activities are really important, but very often students undervalue the importance of them in relation to employability development. So what Degree Plus does is encourage students to reflect on those experiences and to articulate those experiences effectively to employers on their CVs, on application forms and at interview. And in addition to that, then students also get additional accreditation. Degree Plus is sponsored by NICFA and EY, who are our corporate sponsors for the award. It's really important that any activities that you get involved in are extracurricular, so they can't be a compulsory part of your degree. They need to be things you have done in your own time and sit outside the requirements for your academic programme. They can be completed at any time from when you first enrol at Queen's in first year up until the actual activity completion date. And they must be an employability enhancement that allows you to develop professional skills and attributes that a potential graduate employer would value. So how do you get Degree Plus? If you have a look at the Degree Plus website, which is listed on the screen now, you'll see that there are a list of all the accredited activities. And there are two types of activities. Provider verified activities are activities and programs that are deemed to be quite substantial and intensive and usually range from anything between 30 to 200 hours of engagement. If you participate in any of these activities, you will automatically get Degree Plus accreditation from the activity provider. So the activity provider will inform the Degree Plus team that you have successfully completed that programme and you will automatically get the Degree Plus accreditation. It will automatically go on to your FUSIS record and be recorded as having successfully completed a Degree Plus programme. However, not all students will have the time or have the opportunity to participate in a provider verified activity and may be involved in things outside of Queen's like volunteering in their own communities, other extracurricular activities through maybe sports clubs or youth and community groups that they're involved in, or even part-time work. And those activities are just as valuable as providing opportunities to develop employability skills. So we want to recognise those as well. And in order to get the Degree Plus accreditation by participating in those kinds of activities, a student needs to submit a combined experience application. You can download that application form from the Degree Plus website. As part of the application, you're required to complete an 800-word reflection on your skills development by participating in those activities, and you must provide evidence of a minimum of 2 different activities. So if it's part-time work, that could be a payslip, for example. If it's volunteering, it could be an email or a letter from the organisation that you volunteered with. And as long as you do all that and you submit that by the deadline of the 1st of April of your year of graduation, if you're a summer graduate, and it's November then if you're a winter graduate. As long as that's all submitted in time, then you will receive the Degree Plus accreditation, and that will also go on to your QSIS record. So that just gives you a bit of background about Degree Plus. At this point, I want to invite Megan to join us. Hi, Megan.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us today and giving up your time just to share some of your experiences with students and help them to consider getting involved in some of the Degree Plus activities. So first of all, can you tell us a bit about yourself, about what you studied at Queen's and where you are now, first of all?
So I studied law, single honours at Queen's, so I did 3 years of law. And then I went on and did my master's in human rights law at Queen's as well. And now I'm currently doing the bar practice course at Northumbria University in Newcastle, which is my vocational training in order to be called to the bar in England as a barrister.
Great, congratulations on that, and I hope it's going well.
Thank you. Yes, it is. It's intense, but it's good.
Yeah, good. You're enjoying it anyway.
Yeah.
Great. So can you tell us what Degree Plus activities you got involved in during your time at Queen's?
So I got involved in a variety of activities throughout my 4 years at Queen's. I did street law, Erasmus, Inspiring Leaders. I was a peer mentor, and I was also a consent ambassador and a project choice ambassador as well.
Okay. Could you maybe just focus on a couple of those and give us a bit more detail?
So I suppose street law I got involved in first year. It's a program that is run by the law school where law students are able to work with a charity or a community organization, or it might be a secondary school, for example. And you can work alongside those organizations, and you are kind of teaching them about a topic of law that they might not know about. So that was really interesting. It's obviously like pro bono and volunteering experience, which was really good when I was in first year to get involved in. I got involved in peer mentoring then in second year, just mentoring incoming first year students to the law school, kind of supporting them through that transition from A levels and secondary school to studying law at undergraduate level at Queen's. And then in final year, I got involved with Inspiring Leaders through the Student Union. And there's 2 pathways with Inspiring Leaders. So you can do a residential weekend, I think, and then you can do kind of just a weekend course. So it involved going to Riddle Hall and doing a whole day of activities with a variety of different people, which was really, really interesting as well.
Okay. And obviously, is that particularly in relation to Inspiring Leaders, that program really encourages you to think about your experiences and reflect on that. And has that helped you in, your future applications and helped you to get to where you are today and being successful and getting onto the bar program?
Yeah, I think it really has. I think all of my experiences combined together, for which I got Degree Plus, has definitely helped me get where I am. It's something that I always talk about in applications. There are things that I can draw different transferable skills that I picked up and learned from. And I can talk about those in applications, and I can talk about them in interviews, and they even help me now in my current degree and pathway. So I think that they're definitely beneficial.
Okay. And you talked about transferable skills then. What do you think are the main skills that you developed from participating in the activities that you did?
I think probably one of the biggest ones would be confidence. I went to Queen's alone. I didn't know anyone. I was the only person from my school. So I was kind of, and I come from a really small town and a really small background. So it was kind of, in the big city. So getting these experiences with people from all different backgrounds, from all different countries, and getting to do the types of things that I did, for Erasmus, for example, in final year, which was obviously moving to a different country again. I learned a lot about myself. So I think it's definitely made me more confident in who I am and who I want to be, which has kind of put me where I am now because of these experiences. So I think the main one would probably be confidence, and then linked to that is probably my communication skills. As I said, you're working with a variety of different people. Street law, we were working with NIACRO, which is a community organization that works with former prisoners. So that was obviously a great experience, and it's with working with people you might not meet in your typical everyday life. So I think that those are probably my 2 main things that I've definitely gained from my degree plus activities.
Okay. You mentioned Erasmus there. So obviously that was a period abroad. Well, what do you think are the benefits of that, of an international experience?
I think there's so many benefits. I think my study abroad experience taught me, how to be resilient, how to be self-sufficient. You have to work on your own initiative. You're moving to a different country you might have never been before. You have to source your own accommodation. So you're doing that all by yourself. You're moving there by yourself. You're going to classes in a new environment, trying to make friends. So you're gaining a lot of maturity as well. I think that there's the benefits. And then in terms of employment, like communication skills as well, you're learning, communicating with people from different countries all over Europe or all over the world, which is really, really good. And then confidence again. Yeah, there's so many benefits from studying abroad. I think I'm a massive advocate for it.
So obviously you got involved in activities right from first year right through. And I suppose maybe sometimes, first year students think, I've just got to university, I just want to enjoy university experience. I'm really just finding my feet, and they really think, maybe they don't have time, or they're a bit anxious or a bit nervous about getting involved in things. What would you say to a first year student to encourage them to get involved in extracurricular activities and get degree plus?
I would say to get stuck in. I know it can be daunting when you're in these new environments, especially when you go to Queen's, but getting stuck in can help you on your transition when you are just starting at university. These types of activities are where you do meet people that are at Queen's too, and where you form these connections with other students, but also, with staff members, for example, and then other, like I said, organizations, which obviously are all so helpful for the future. There's so many activities I got involved in that I was able to build connections with people who I still talk to now back at Queen's. And it's really good to have that, foster those connections for when you move on from Queen's and you start your professional career. So anyone who's starting Queen's, I would say definitely just try and get stuck in because you will learn so much about yourself from it.
Yeah, and just push yourself out of your comfort zone. That's just
exactly
taking that first step. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm a massive proponent of life begins at the end of your comfort zone. So definitely.
That's a good motto. If we can just focus a wee bit more about degree plus and the degree plus process, because I outlined earlier that there's sort of two different types of activities. There's the provider verified activities, which are quite substantial, where you'll automatically get the degree plus accreditation for that. But then you can also submit your own application under the combined experience award, and you did both. So you completed some activities under the provider verifier route, where you automatically got the accreditation, but you also then submitted a combined experience application for other things that you'd done and to get a credit for that. Obviously, you have to complete an application form for that. You have to submit evidence. You have to complete a relatively short reflective piece. Did you find that process onerous, or was it relatively straightforward?
I think it's relatively straightforward. Like you said, the application form kind of lays everything out for you. It tells you exactly what you need to do and what it wants from you. So I didn't find it too onerous in that aspect. But I think the application form is a really good chance as well to reflect on what you've done, because there's so many times when you do these kinds of things, you just do it and you never really think that you have picked up much from it. You might be doing it just because you enjoy it, or some people might just do it, purely to enhance their CV. But with the application form, you look back and when you're answering the questions, you're kind of just like, well, you know what, I really did learn so much about my teamwork skills when I did that, or I really did develop this skill when I did that. So I think it's a really good reflective process.
Yeah, and that's really what we're trying to encourage students to do through the process. We also really want to encourage students to do more than one thing.
Yeah.
And obviously, a lot of students, they can participate in a provider verified activity and they'll automatically get degree plus, and maybe they think, well, I've got the degree plus accreditation, I can kind of tick that box and move on. But would you agree that there is real value in doing lots of different things, because you get different things out of different activities?
Yes, I agree. I definitely agree. Like I said, peer mentoring was completely different from something like Inspiring Leaders or Erasmus, because the skills that you do get from it are completely different, but they make you a more well-rounded person, which is obviously really good when you get out into the job market or onto your next educational step, whether it be higher study. So I think it's really good too to not box yourself in, because so many people can kind of just stick to one thing, and then you're kind of like in an echo chamber and you really narrow yourself. Whereas if you have all these different activities, then when it comes to the future, you have so many different experiences that you can draw on, and different skills that you can pick from each one to use as examples in, you know, application forms and things like that. So I think it is good to kind of broaden your horizons rather than keep them one narrow focus.
Yeah, and I think having a broad range of things that you can draw on during that interview process, during that selection process, makes it so much easier.
Yeah.
If you've lots of examples.
Exactly, yeah.
And what about the Degree Plus accreditation then? What do you think was the value of getting that rubber stamp from Queen's to say, you participated in these activities and we recognise your skills development through that? What do you think is the value of that? I
think it's something that's really valuable to have alongside your degree. You know, first off, you get a certificate alongside your degree at graduation. So that's really nice to have the two of them. But even beyond that, you know, again, when it comes out, and I suppose I'm looking kind of at a job aspect, but when it comes to application forms and things, like, sometimes I think people compare themselves a lot to other people. If you look them up and stuff, and you see, oh, they have all these awards, and, you know, I'm just this kind of graduate, what do I have kind of thing. But it's like, no, well, you have Degree Plus, and that's an award, and that's an accreditation that you have earned. So it's something that you can definitely use, and something that is a strength to you as a candidate, because of all those experiences that you did, which got you the accreditation in the first place. So I think it's definitely something that that you can be proud of, because you're awarded it. So yeah, I think the value of it is honestly really, really good, really high.
That's great, thank you. And it's just a rubber stamp. It's just that recognition from the university that you went out of your comfort zone, and you went out of your way, and you were proactive in getting involved in activities, and recognizing your own skills development and personal development through that.
Yeah, exactly. And I think to other people then as well, that just makes you look like more of a well-rounded person, because, you know, these days especially, I feel like companies or wherever it may be, they want more than just someone who is so educated, like education focused, because you could have the best grades in the world, and that's great. But what does that say about your personality or your people skills or your teamwork skills? But when you come with something like Degree Plus, and then it gives you something to talk about, like, oh, what is this? And then, you know, oh, I did this, and this involved this. So that kind of thing. So I think, yeah, the value is really, really good.
That's great. Thank you. Well, thank you so much, Megan, as I said, for joining us, and thank you for sharing some really useful insights. I hope everyone watching found the webinar useful, and I hope that you'll all be inspired to get involved in extracurricular activities during your time at Queen's, and to get the Degree Plus accreditation. If you're in final year and you haven't looked into Degree Plus yet, there's still time to do that. As long as you submit your application by the 1st of April, just have a look at the Degree Plus website, and it gives you all the information that you need to know. So thank you, Megan, and thank you all for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.